Hello everyone, Steve Raitt from Success Website here today, and welcome to our regular Monday internet training call. Very pleased to have Christy Filion from Success Website with us today. Hi Christy, how are you?
I'm great, thanks Steve. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. So today we're going to do a Q&A call. So today's perfect chance for everyone to get their questions asked. If you have any questions about website, branded, less branded, how to do custom listings, HDX, Facebook, Google, you name it. We're going to answer as many questions as we can. So if you want to ask your question, there's two ways to do it. You can either raise your hand, and we'll see if we can get you on live audio. If you've got a success story, that would be great as well. I'd always love to hear those. Or your other option is to enter them into the questions in the webinar section through the chat, and we will try to answer as many of those as well.
I'm here as well, Steve.
Oh, hey Craig.
Hello, Craig.
How you doing, guys?
We're doing
Great.
good. So yeah, as I said, we're just going to do answer as many questions as we can today. Any thoughts, Craig, before we get started, or?
Well, why don't we start with what you're finding are the best campaigns, the best landing pages that are generating the highest conversion, best quality leads.
We can do that. I know that last week, I believe it was, or maybe a couple weeks ago, we did the ad clinic call, and we did go through quite a few Facebook and Google campaigns that are doing quite well. And on our Jumpstart webinar last week, last Thursday, we also did an ad review call. So we had sent out an email to all of our clients asking, what do you need help with? Would you like us to review your campaigns during the call this week? And we got an overwhelming response from that email. Lots and lots of people sending in requests to have their campaigns reviewed. So on my screen here is our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/SWS Jumpstart. And we weren't able to get through all of the requests last week, so we will be doing a part 2 this Thursday, and that happens 3:30 to 4:30 Eastern Time. But for any of you who are interested in listening to the recording from last week, it's available right here on our Jumpstart page. So I will post a link to that in our chat panel here, and hopefully that will help some of you who are struggling with your campaigns or looking for some extra insight into what's working, what's not working, why it may not be working, and we'll be continuing with that again this week. So just wanted to point that out. But yeah, please, if any of you have questions about campaigns, if you'd like us to take a look at your campaign, let's open it up and take as many questions as we can. Okay,
What are the best campaigns you've got going right now, Christy? What's the top sort of generally for buyers? Let's start with buyers.
Sure. Well, we've always found that the hot list for foreclosures and distress sales tends to bring in the highest volume of leads, and actually we addressed this during the ad clinic call with Craig and James a couple of weeks ago, but we also talked about this quite a bit last Thursday, because this campaign for the foreclosure and distress hot list does bring in the highest volume of leads. I think people often struggle with either they don't have a lot of foreclosures and distress sales in their inventory, they feel like they can't fulfill that request properly, or they feel like that type of lead is a lower quality lead. So on our call,
okay, so let me step in on this.
Yeah.
What I constantly preach is we should be most concerned with not necessarily the campaign that generates the most number of leads, but the campaign that generates the most dollars in our bank account. We should be focusing on ROI. So while I agree the distress sale ad will typically generate more buyer leads than probably any other campaign, what campaigns would you say generate the highest quality leads?
The highest quality leads? I mean, that's really tough to say. I mean, that's a question that I'm constantly asking the clients is, you know, out of all of your leads, which one has led to business? You know, where have the appointments come from? Where have the, you know, the contracts and the commissions come from? It's just one of those things that people don't often know. So the highest quality lead is the one that gives you an accurate phone number and an accurate name and an accurate email, so you can follow up. The highest quality lead is someone who's genuinely interested in receiving information from you and is willing to accept, you know, whatever secondary offers you're willing to make during your follow-up.
See, if I don't have a valid phone number, personally, I don't even count that as a lead, because there's really nothing I can do with it. If it doesn't have valid contact information, I don't even count it as a lead. When I'm talking quality, I'm talking motivation and timing. You know, so what I'm always looking for is which campaigns generate the highest quality leads and the most transactions per dollar spent. So this is why, of course, I always like seller campaigns, like the area home sales report, the online home evaluation. Those were always really, really good ones. For sale by owner campaigns, very good. Also, I want to talk to you guys about your HDX program as well. So 3 things I want to cover, a quick comparison between the success our members are getting with Facebook versus Google pay-per-click versus HDX.
Okay. So, well, HDX is simply the platform that we're delivering content from. So in this case, it would be listing content. And we do find that the campaigns that are offering a specific type of property hot list tend to get the best.
Can you go? I don't know if you're stuck on this Facebook page. I don't know if that's on purpose.
Nope, I can bring up some of the Facebook stuff that we looked at.
Well, no, I was thinking while you're talking about HDX, why don't we go to an HDX example just so everybody knows what we're talking about. I'm sure they do, but just in case, I just I wondered if maybe you were locked on this Facebook page and you didn't know it.
No, I do realize that I'm on this. Let me just bring up one of our HDX sites and we can take a look at that. Let me see. Let's look at...
The idea with HDX is that basically it's a custom listings portal. So what it lets you do is it lets you show all of the listings that are in your MLS, but you own anything that comes from that. So the idea is that if anybody requests more information on a property, you're going to capture the lead for that. So people can see the list. They can see all the listings that are available through the regular IDX in your marketplace. But what we do is we customize it for you. We can feature areas and hot lists that are specifically targeted for you. So in this case, the search property, this is San Diego, I believe.
Yep.
But we can feature the neighborhoods. If we just scroll up to the top, we can feature the neighborhoods. So Del Mar, the main area you want, we would set it up so Del Mar, Solana Beach condos or Del Mar, Solana Beach homes. Effectively, we're creating all of these hot lists for you. They're pre-filled with live listings. So you can advertise the Del Mar condos on Solana Beach as a hot list. You could advertise that in Google. You could advertise that on Facebook. So you create your ad. They can either be drawn directly to this page, and whenever they click for information, if they click on one of the listings and ask for more information, when they do that, they'll get prompted to fill in their contact information and we'll capture the lead. Or you can run them just to a straight squeeze page, a capture page, that will send them the list. So you can advertise you could do a hot list of properties in Del Mar, Solana Beach, condos, homes, whatever that list is. When people go to the list, they can then request to get access to the list. You capture their name, their email, their phone number, and then they can be automatically redirected to this page to deliver the list. So the idea is that you no longer have to put that list together to deliver it to them. You no longer have to worry about if it's up to date or not. So this is what happens when they click through the listings. They have to register. So that's where we would capture the lead. So basically it gives you a custom access, a custom MLS that features just the areas you want and then automatically delivers these hot lists. In addition, it can automatically send you all of the updates that come out to each of the prospects that request a list. So if there's new properties that come on the market that match, they'll automatically be sent that. Send an email saying you've got new properties that match the criteria. People can refine their criteria. You can go into my leads and see all the properties that people have looked at, how many they've looked at, where they are, what ranges are. So there's lots of benefits of setting this up. But it really is just a delivery vehicle for the ad. It isn't really the ad. You set up your ads to point to either a squeeged page that's going to lead to HDX, or you just set it up to go directly the other. As I said, you can run your ads, but you can still pick all of the campaigns, all of the hot lists, but you get effectively what you advertise. So this takes care of the delivery of that and the updates and all the things automatically for you.
Okay, so the key with HDX is you need to call the buyer prospect back right away, and you need to get together with them. You need to set a meeting, because if you don't, what Steve just said is going to happen. They're going to keep getting all the new emails that come up that match their criteria, and once they discover that they're going to get this information constantly on new listings, you kind of lose your leverage as to why they need to meet with you. Remember, your offer is when we can get together, we can take down exactly what you're looking for. We can get you information on hard-to-find properties. You want to make sure that that conversation happens as soon as you generate the lead, because everything you're saying becomes less important if you ignore that lead for a couple weeks and every day they're finding they're getting new listings without meeting you. So I hope that makes sense to everybody.
Right.
Now,
you have control of that as well. You can turn off their access, you can turn on their access, you can delay their access until you've talked to them. All of those things you're in control of.
Yeah, well, there's too many of our members that are just showing houses. You know, like with the HDX, it shouldn't be about showing houses unless you've got a buyer agency agreement in place. So here's the mistake I see, is they drive the buyer prospects to the HDX, and then they follow up with the buyer saying, okay, you know, we sent you some houses. Every day we send you houses. Are there any houses that you want to look at today? You know, a week later, are there any houses you want to look at? And every once in a while, the buyer says, okay, I want to go look at a house. So now you've got a problem, because you've created this situation where you're someone that sends houses and you show houses. And once you've set that up as the rules of engagement, you can't backtrack on that. Okay, so you've got to be very careful how you use this. As soon as they get the list, just like as soon as they go to a squeeze page, a landing page, and offer a free report or a hot list of properties, you need to be calling them back as soon as possible, using the universal callback script and getting that appointment. Okay, not a week later, not 2 weeks later, because then it's very difficult to do that. But many realtors have like totally the wrong mindset when it comes to an IDX. They think it's all about houses and showing houses, and we've talked a lot about why that is just a bad way to run your business. Let's switch gears and let's talk about Google pay-per-click for a few minutes.
Yep, we can definitely talk about Google pay-per-click. It's a huge media outlet, and there's a lot of traffic coming from Google right now. So I'm sure that many of the members on the call today are either running Google ads or have run them. Some of you may have decided, to choose Facebook over Google, or vice versa. I think this is a common question: is what's better, Google or Facebook? And I usually say they're both great. It just is another
Yeah, I
opportunity
mean,
to generate
wouldn't that be saying, you know, what's better, direct mail or an ad in the newspaper? Well, if you have a good return on investment on both, the answer is both.
Exactly. There's no reason why you can't run both. I mean, your budget may be a good reason not to run both. You don't have the marketing funds to do both, but they, Google is usually where people start their search. You know, if somebody is looking for a home, they're going to start their search on Google. You know, we see lots and lots of traffic, especially from first-time home buyers. So the ad that I've got up on my screen right now is for a hot list of homes specifically for first-time home buyers. So this is a great target to go after using Google because it's really going to be the first stop for most people looking for their first home. So the goal is to get to these people first, right? If you and this is another thing that we should talk about actually is how every lead that comes into the site isn't necessarily now business. And you shouldn't really be expecting it to be now business. A lot of these people are going to be moving, you know, in the next 6 months, but it's a numbers game. You know, we want to get as many leads into the funnel as we can because as we continue to follow up and to provide them with information and you meet with them and you get them to sign the agreement, that may not happen right away. You know, that may happen 2 months or 3 months down the road. So, I mean, Craig, what would you say if you were really going to give, you know, Google pay-per-click a shot? I mean, how much time should someone invest in this type of marketing in order to like really realistically expect results? Because a lot of these people are just so early in the game, you know, they're not going to be moving in the next month. So what do you think is a good time expectation?
Well, I think you're going to get people that want to move right away, and you're going to get people that want to move months and months down the road. And there's a benefit to both kinds of leads.
I think, though, that
clearly the benefit of somebody that wants to act now is you don't have to follow up with them for long. But quite often, because they're further along in the purchase process, they already have a relationship with a real estate agent. That's not usually the case with a prospect that's 3 months or 6 months out. So, you know, in all of this marketing, that's the benefit of direct response marketing. If I offer you know, an ad offering an area home sales report, I'm going to get people that want to sell their house right now. I'm going to get people that want to perhaps sell their home 6 months from now. And we want to be both the hunter and the farmer with our marketing. The hunter sets out every day looking for food to put on the table. The hunter's planting seeds to harvest for maybe the fall. So, you know, that's the beauty of direct response marketing. You're always filling your pipeline with now business and with future business. The key here is testing. That's all this is about. I like seller ads. I really do. So Google pay-per-click, I'm gonna drill down on seller campaigns or buyers that are going to have homes to sell. So, you know, that's why I'm always, you know, offering lists of neighborhoods, high demand areas where I know I'm going to get usually a local move-up buyer. You know, you've heard me talk about Glenway Estates or Stonehaven Estates. I know that many of the people are going to be local. So I'm going to get a buyer, but I'm also going to get a listing. Okay, so those are the lists that I like to offer, whether it be on Google or Facebook or a simple ad in the paper. Okay, we need strategy with our marketing. We really need to think strategy. We've got too many members running around just, you know, here and there running ads without any real strategy, and that's why it's a good idea to step back and actually think about what you're trying to accomplish with your marketing instead of sort of haphazardly running ads here and there. I hear Rick Brash is with us as well. Rick, good morning.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing?
Good, Rick. Maybe you can talk strategy because you know, you're a big thinker. in your home market, what is your strategy when it comes to Facebook and Google pay-per-click and your marketing in general?
Well, the one thing we haven't talked about yet that I'm sure we're going to is remembering about our audience. So both Google and Facebook allow us to be relatively scientific about who our ad is presented to, and I think that takes some consideration. Now, you know, we're going to work with age, we're going to work with interests. Facebook now, as you know, Christy, allows us to even choose people who own homes and people who are looking for homes, and that's all determined by what people do online with their Facebook their Facebook activity. So I think that the audience consideration, Craig, is one of the most important things we can do with any online marketing, whether it's Google, whether it's a Bing ad, whether it's a Facebook ad, and we have all these choices. And we should have in our Facebook account a number of different audiences that allow for different things to happen. You know, I can tell you I don't get a lot of seller leads from a younger audience. You know, if we've got an audience that's between 25 and 35 or 40, I don't get a lot of seller leads. But if I move my audience up a little bit, maybe 35 to 55, that's where my seller leads start to show up. So I think it's very important to consider that as well.
Yeah, I really do like that you can specifically target your audience. You can't do that as well with other media as you can, especially with Facebook. I really do like that. But Rick, you and I have talked for years about the fact that there's going to be no one media that you're going to singularly use. You're going to use a mixture, a layered approach. Maybe you can talk about what all the things that you do.
Well, sure. We need to look at a couple of things that's basic to direct response marketing. The first thing is the ad. Now, for years, one of the things we've always recommended is you test an ad campaign on the lowest cost media channel that's possible. So, Craig, for lots of people, that was Craigslist over the years. We get a campaign, we think it's relevant and has merit for the neighborhood. We go into Craigslist and we test and we tweak and we test and we tweak. We get this ad on Craigslist that's generating activity. Now we can move that ad across 3 or 4 or 5 different media choices. Like you said, we have direct mail. We have online. We have offline. We have real estate magazines. We have signage. We have all these different places to run these tested campaigns. We get to a point where all we do is put a fence around them. Now we've got a half a dozen campaigns running across a half a dozen media channels, and I'm going to say half of them are probably online, maybe 2/3 of them are online. And just because we've had the ability to test really inexpensively, now we know what to expect when the campaign runs. And that's what you taught us, Craig, that multi-layered approach, because that's exactly what you did.
Yep, good points. Talk to me about your Facebook advertising right now. What are your best campaigns?
Well, just like you said earlier, Craig, I like to drill down for seller leads. So I've got a couple of ads that run for sellers. I've been on vacation, so they're off right now, but I've got a couple of ads that run for sellers on a couple of specific pages in my marketplace that talk to a specific audience, and I can generate seller leads relatively easy with Facebook. Buyer leads are really easy as well. A couple of things our Canadian members want to remember now is that on Facebook, we can choose an audience by what's called FSA. That's the postal walk that delivers mail to a particular route in a neighborhood. So let's say you found a neighborhood that has a high rate of sale, a high turnover, lots of activity, as Craig has taught us over the years. We can go into Facebook, we can create a seller lead, and we can have that seller ad, we can have that seller ad delivered right to people on the postal walk where the activity is really rocking and rolling. So now we can really drill down. You can drop a pin, and you can have your ad delivered within a radius of the pin that you drop. And again, great for generating seller leads because you drop your pin right in the middle of a neighborhood where there's lots of activity. So once you get your head around this online audience choice, generating the lead and the traffic is not that difficult.
You know, Rick, selecting your target market, doing exactly what you just explained, is as important or perhaps more important than the actual ad.
Oh,
right? Like
question.
You've got to, you know, we talk an awful lot about that the first consideration that all of you want to have is target market. You can have the world's best ad, but if it's aimed at the wrong people, it's not going to work. So too many times our members are fixated on the ad, give us the best campaign, but you use strategy. This is what I was talking about earlier. You have a strategy. You know exactly through your research who your best prospects are, and you're using Facebook to hone in on them. Okay, well, without that part, your ads are not near as effective.
Well, I mean, it's basics. It's quantum leap basics. I think this is call 2 in the call deck. What do you teach us to do, Craig? You teach us to study the market, understand the ebbs and flows, the peaks and valleys of the market, and focus in for seller leads in those areas where there's lots of rock and roll activity. So how do we do that? We study the MLS, and we use the reality program. That lets us see exactly where consistent activity is month after month, year after year. Now, we go to Christy and we say, Christy, this is where my Facebook ad for sellers needs to go. And in half a dozen clicks, Christy has your ad pointed right directly into that neighborhood. That's Quantum Leap 101, and that's what we all want to be doing.
Yeah, and Facebook is really great for that. As you said, Rick, you can put in, you can draw up a specific pin in a specific location. You can use zip codes, postal codes. I would say, though, and maybe you can tell me, Rick, what your benchmark is for audience number. Like, you don't want to limit yourself too much. I would say that your audience has to be, a minimum of, I don't know, like 10,000, 20,000.
Yeah, for me it's 20. I start getting into audiences that are bigger than 20,000, and I see my costs go up, but my traffic doesn't increase. Now, some of you are on the call today are thinking, well, God, I live in a city of 6 million people. I live in central Phoenix with a neighboring population of 6 million. Look, we can take an ad, we can attach it to an audience of 20 or 25,000 people, and we can generate the leads you need for about $6 a lead. And that's really what we want to teach you to do. You don't need to market to the whole neighborhood. I mean, Craig, you tell that story of the consultation you did with somebody in North Phoenix a few years ago, and he said to you, my budget is $12, but I want to talk to all of North Phoenix. Well, that's not a reasonable thing to do. So, like you say, Christy, with this Facebook media, we have as many choices as we want to narrow down our audience, talk to the right people, make the right geographical decisions, and then introduce the right tested ad to that group. And the byproduct of doing a good job of research and audience target marketing is traffic and leads every time.
Absolutely, yeah. Do a bit of work there and really try to create an avatar, as they call it. Who is your ideal target market? What are their pains? What keeps them up at night? How old are they? Where do they live? You really have to put yourself in the shoes of your prospect to understand them. And then once you have that understanding, you'll find that coming up with the offers and the marketing messages, it's much easier, and that's very beneficial to us, because then we can help you build a campaign to target that specific market.
Yeah, truth be known, our member, Christy, and you will attest to this, our member knows their market better than you do. And even if you sit down with some research tools, our member that's working with you should be able to paint a much clearer picture of what's going on and what they need than you can find for them. So that's good advice, everybody. When you start to work with Steve and Christy at Success on your marketing, be sure you've done that market study. Be sure that you are watching the hot sheets. Be sure you are aware of ebbs and flows in your marketplace. Be sure you've subscribed monthly to your board's stat package so you do know what's going on. Study your MLS. I always tell our members, be a student of your MLS. Every morning when you come to work and you sit down with a coffee, don't read the paper. Read your MLS. Find out what's going on. I remember, Craig, you told me one time you knew your market so well that when you pulled into somebody's driveway, you already knew what that house would sell for. Well, that's
pretty much within a very small range. I would know when I got in the driveway pretty much what that what that home was worth. Hey, I don't know if we can do this. What I did is I had Andrea select some of our best campaigns that I wanted to show everybody today. Am I able to take control of this webinar for a minute?
Yeah, sure. Let me just, I'm going to switch it over to you. Oh, okay. I think Andrea's doing it already. Andrea
is very efficient.
She is. She's on top of that.
She's the best.
And I'm not just saying that because she's here listening. Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
How you doing today?
I'm really good. I'm really good.
Okay, so Andrea, thank you for assembling this list. Let's have a look at what we've got here. GTA, by the way, stands for Greater Toronto Area Home and Condo Info. Free list of Mimico home deals. Okay, so we've seen ads like this. Bank foreclosures, power of sales is a Canadian term, and distress sales. These must be sold. So this is my basic distress sale ad that so many of you run. So that's a very good example of that. Here's one in Scottsdale Home Guide. I don't know why these are stretched like this, but I don't think I can fix that right now. Why do they look like this, Andrea?
Well, Ruth wanted to print them all from the PowerPoint I sent, and she wasn't able to get a good print view with them smaller, but I have both versions where they're clearer. We knew that the fuzziness and the stretching wasn't going to be visually appeasing for you.
Okay, anyway, we'll deal with what we have here. Okay, want to buy a home in Scottsdale area? Start here and receive a free list of Scottsdale foreclosures. I like this. I like when our members submit results. Okay, so attached is follow-up to the ad I posted on the ad clinic last Friday, and below are my results and landing page I used. I thought it'd be real beneficial for other members if you shared this again on Friday's ad clinic, because in just 3 days so far, I've been able to generate 13 leads off this ad. I only spent $36, which is the best I've ever done so far in terms of ad to click to lead conversion.
Wow, that is amazing.
That's a good one there. All right, so Monroe County homes with acreage. Free list with pictures, addresses, and info of 31 Monroe County homes. You know, hey, Andrea, why don't we do this? Why don't we put a link for all these ads I'm going to show right on the webinar so our members can download them?
No problem. I'll get that done right here in a second.
Okay.
So Christy, how does this? So how would that ad? Just you can go back to that previous page. Could you just walk people through how that would that ad is what they're going to see in their Facebook feed.
That's
so
correct.
You pick your target. You pick the demographic. So all the people that go on to Facebook that match that demographic, Facebook's going to show them that ad just like that in their feed. So when they click on the link, where are they going to go from there?
They will go to a landing page. They go to a landing page on the Success website, and that may be an HDX squeeze page that will deliver the Monroe County homes with acreage, or it may be a less branded landing page that offers the list, and then the agent would have to manually deliver that once a lead comes through.
Right. Okay.
All right, well, let's whip through these. We've got a bunch of questions. We'll whip through these examples, and we'll take some questions. Buy a home with $2,000 or less. That's right. New state programs that help you buy a home in Elk Grove with $2,000 down payment or less. Stop renting and start building your own wealth. Own a home for what you now pay in rent. First-time home buyer VIP program. That one's hard to read. But we've got the ad above and the landing page below. How to sell your home without an agent. Find out what real estate agents don't want you to know. And then there's the Success website squeeze page below. Find the value of your York home free. Go to sell your home in York, Pennsylvania, I guess that is .com. Planning to sell your Guyana home? Is that how you pronounce that? Find out what your home is really worth. Click the image below for a free, no obligation home evaluation. Exclusive hot list of Elk Grove homes for sale with pools. free instant list with pictures and addresses, every pool home listed by every real estate company. Click the link below to view. Hot list of newly rehabbed and ready homes in Philly. New listings emailed in real time. And I like this, Philly's best homes. Very simple squeeze page. Find Quinte home prices by address. 100% free. And I like how prospects are putting in their comments here. Mm-hmm. You can answer those back and try to engage with them. The best thing is to try to get them off of Facebook. So you've got their email or their phone number. Mm-hmm. Usually you can't get their phone number on Facebook. You have to take them to email and then from email to a phone number. Just listed Vaughan single-family home deals for as low as $650,000. Get instant access to new listings in real time. Again, this one's stretched, it's blurry. Featured listing over 4,200 square feet of living space, gourmet kitchen.
Stainless steel. I think that's the essence there, yeah.
Yeah, large master bedroom. Full details on this featured home. See, okay, Andrea, I think that what this is missing is it should be offering a list of, this is, house number 2 on a list of 18, something like that. I don't really like advertising one house.
Yes, I saw a few of those. Ruth had sent me an extra PowerPoint to add some ads, and a couple of them were just single listings.
Yeah, so she sent them to me this morning. That's why I have them here, and then I'm going to eliminate the ones that I'm not keen on.
When we do that, we can also update the visuals.
Yeah, because I want my PowerPoint to match what she's printing out, but they can't be stretched like this. Okay, we have, looks like a Craigslist ad. Do you want to tackle this one, Rick?
Well, it's a good ad. I mean, so what's the key with Craigslist? The key with Craigslist is to create it used to be to create a click to a landing page. Now it's to create a call into our hotline that has a pre-recorded script. So this is pretty good. The caption doesn't give away a lot of the juice on the house. The prospect is interested about this property, but look, the highlighted part there is where we widen the funnel, Craig, just like you taught us. It says number 8 of 10 on our best buy hot list. Order the entire list of homes by simply calling the toll-free number, and it should say free recorded message. Okay, guys, make sure it says that. Free recorded message. And there's the number and the ID code. So fairly good ad. This probably got leads.
All right, Monroe, Michigan, I guess. I don't know what this says. Awesome newer listed home for sale in Monroe County.
This was also a single listing, but I wanted to give a quick note about this. This was free advertising on a public group, and he was having a lot of success with that. So our members looking for free marketing, this was something that we had in our pocket.
I do like this text idea because you're going to get their phone number. I don't know how many of you have tried this. For information, text here.
Yeah, that's the SMS. So that listing is attached to an SMS text code. And I just want to point out where that ad was. It was actually in a Facebook group. So that's really interesting. I mean, you can find these high traffic, high volume groups, public groups in Facebook, and you obviously can post in there and advertise. Some groups will they'll make it very clear that that's not the purpose of that group. But it looks like this is sort of like a local real estate Facebook group. So it's not a bad idea is to look for those in Facebook.
Homeowners association pages are awesome, especially in my area for something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you can't find one, you can start one. You can easily start one.
You could.
Okay, folks, keep your questions coming in here. I'm going to go to them shortly. We've got a bunch of them, but there's still time for you to type your question into chat. Another online home evaluation campaign.
Greg, I've got a bunch of the questions. I've been monitoring them, so when you get to the questions, let me know, and I can ask the ones that haven't been answered.
Right, or you might want to just repeat some of the questions that have.
Yep.
We've got some good
questions. Yeah, we'll do.
Okay, so online home evaluation, this is really good. Stouffville real estate sales.
Right, so you want to make sure that the Facebook page that you're advertising on is a less branded Facebook page. So we get a lot of questions about that, and a lot of people will start up their own branded Facebook page and feel like they need to be running ads from that. But in fact, we recommend running ads from a less branded Facebook page, because building up likes for that page is sort of a byproduct. What we want is to be able to show these ads in either the mobile newsfeed or the desktop newsfeed. And you can only do that if you are running your ad from a page.
Right.
Okay, I like this one too. Area home sales report. Find out what the home down the street sold for. This is one of my favorites. Free list of recent home sales and active listings. I would recommend you guys try this. I like this ad.
A lot of text on that ad. I'm surprised that that picture made it through. They usually on Facebook they don't allow a lot of text. Your text can only represent maybe 25% of your image.
In the image, yeah, that's right. So we should just highlight the difference here, Christy. This is an ad. Okay, so anywhere on this picture, if the prospect clicks it, they're taken to a landing page. A post, a boosted post, you have to click on the URL. So big difference between the two.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another one. We got some creative members here. Get a free evaluation of what your home is really worth. No obligation. Do you know what your home is worth? Property News. Okay, another good example.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Rick, talk about this one. It's in French, and I know your French is better than mine.
Yeah, it's about as good as yours, Craig, I'm afraid.
Isn't it the same?
Looks like it's
27 tips.
Looks like the 27 tips campaign.
Now, was it the 27 that tipped you off?
Yeah. Oh, I can read that, Craig. I'm being stealth with you this morning. I don't speak a word of French. Bonjour.
All right, Andrea, what do we have here? What is this, Andrea?
This was something that Christy actually provided us. I took a few of the ads from the Markham Clinic she referred to earlier that she was on, and this was just an example of cost for each of the ads. We probably won't want to leave this in. I just wanted to include it for my own personal use.
Okay. Google pay-per-click. I think, Christy, you showed this one earlier.
Yeah, I think I was showing the first-time buyer one. This is the MLS Access ad.
So this goes to the HDX?
I think we were testing it. So one of the ads goes to the HDX and one ad goes to Success Website unbranded, less branded squeeze page.
VIP page, maybe.
Good conversion numbers.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, very basic Google pay-per-click ad. And we're back to Facebook. Gilbert Home must sell ASAP. But look, here's the key down here. This is what I want to see. If you're advertising one property, make sure you do this. That's the key. This house is number 6 of 17 foreclosures, distress sales, and fixer-uppers. And I really just like to play with my yellow highlighter here. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, that's it. Oh, hold it, we got more. Help, huge discount, must be sold by May. Quiet neighborhood, we're doing the same thing here. Number 4 of 10 homes that need to be sold quickly. And that's the end of the show. Okay, let's go take a few questions. So, Mr. Rate, do you want to cherry pick some of the best listings, or best questions rather, and share them?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of the questions are actually to do with testing. So Christy Thomas asks, which type of ad gets the most clicks? One that says search homes or one that says get hot lists now? Wondering if people are more likely to want to search or get a list.
It's again, it comes down to testing. So I would run a split test between the two, and Google is great for that, for running those types of split tests, because you can have two text ads basically run at the same time. Google will evenly distribute those ads, and then you can see which one is getting more clicks. In some cases, people are going to be more attracted by the idea of searching. In some cases, people may be more attracted by the idea of getting priority access to a special list. So it varies. I would say that until you test it, you're really not going to know.
Craig, would you like me to go ahead and give the power back to Christy?
I was just going to show
Okay.
my website.
Perfect.
Okay, well, the next question we've got is from Randy. Wasn't sure, something was breezed over. Maybe explain a little bit more about boosting a post and how the clicking on the photo in the Facebook ad works.
Yeah, so Rick mentioned this too. So there are two ways, well, there are actually quite a few ways to advertise on Facebook, but one of the two popular ways that we use are the click to website ad and the page post engagement ad, which is essentially boosting a post on a page. Now, when you boost a post on a page, sometimes, and there are ways to get around this, but sometimes your photo isn't going to link directly to your landing page. Your photo will just pop up in a separate window, and the person will be able to see a larger version of that photo. And page post engagement ads, you can get pretty cheap traffic from those, but you're also paying for comments, you're paying for likes, you're paying
Correct.
for any type of engagement that you get on that ad.
Correct. And the other thing too, Christy, we just have to be honest about this. Facebook uses page post engagement as a key retail component. So they limit your audience, they limit your choices. There's a lot of limitation with respect to page post engagement. So here's the key. And we talked about this earlier. Before you boost a post, you want to be in the back end of your Facebook page, and you want to create an audience that you can go to and use, because you don't get the same choices from boosting a post. And everybody needs to get this. If you simply create a post on a page and go and boost it, you have a half a dozen choices in choosing your audience. But if you've already chosen a detailed target audience in the back end of your Facebook, that's made available to you. So we said this 10 times already. Do your audience demographics first before you boost your post. Very, very important.
Yeah, it's a great point, because you can save your audience. I mean, I've got a Facebook account open here, and we can quickly go through this, but it is one of those things that if you have the Success Website Management team available to help you with this, it's really beneficial to you, because as user-friendly as Facebook is, there are still some things that you may need some help with.
Yeah.
So we
true.
can help you with that.
There's still some nuances that can cost us money if we're not aware of them. That's so true. So true.
Yeah.
I always ask this question at a super conference when Christy's in the room. I stand up in the room and I say, how many of you here in the room are experts at Facebook? And there's always one hand that goes up, and that's Christy's hand. So she's a great resource for all of us to bounce our ideas off of and work with when it comes to working with these online mediums. Just all you have to do is make an appointment, talk to Christy, and she'll get this up and running for you. There's a plug for you, Christy. Shameless plug.
Yes. Well, and we have an amazing team here as well, and we spend a lot of time studying Facebook, studying Google, studying the metrics. We've just got a fantastic team who also could answer a lot of your questions, but I'm always available as well. So
Okay, so Christy, there have been a bunch of people asking about how to get a free consultation call, or they've got questions about their own account, or so what's the best way to set those up?
Yeah, I'm going to push out a form to everybody so you can sign up online for a consultation. There's also the option to have me audit your account. If you're already in management, let's say, you're already running ads through Google or Facebook, and you would just like me to take a look at what's going on in there, I'm more than happy to do that. So I'm going to push those links out in the chat. Hopefully you'll all be able to see that. And make sure you fill out those forms, and we'll get in contact with you to either set up a free consultation or audit your existing campaigns. Okay, let's see if we can answer some more questions.
Okay, so I use Success to help me with Facebook ads. I've never discussed what Rick was talking about, i.e. zip code marketing, neighborhood marketing, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that Success can do or I can do?
So, okay, this is a good topic to bring up. In many cases, we will ask, what is your target area? And usually that results in us getting a city, right? Like maybe a city or a town that you target. That's your primary target area. Now, something that both Craig and Rick brought up today is very important when you're targeting sellers. Just like if you were to mail out a direct mail piece, you're going to target the areas, the neighborhoods that you see the most activity in. So I would say that it is absolutely crucial, if you are running a sellers campaign, to provide us with zip codes or postal codes of those high activity, high volume areas, so we can plug those into our audience and create a custom audience for you for that sellers campaign. So I'm going to talk to my team about that for sure and let them know that this is something that we should be doing for anyone we're managing who is running a sellers campaign. But for all of you, just make a note, something that you can bring up with your management representative, and they can create that audience for you. You just want to keep an eye on the numbers, as Rick was saying. Having around 20,000 people in your audience list is a good ballpark. So anything lower than that, you may be a bit limited in traffic.
Well, it's relative. It's relative. I mean, if you live in a smaller area that doesn't have a population of 20,000, then it's all relative. But overall, I think I've had the best success with audiences no bigger than 25,000. So that's what I recommend. But it's like we've been taught, Christy. It's one of those things we test. Remember, the best marketers are also the best testers. I mean, I've been doing this with Craig now for 17 years. I still test a new ad campaign every week, so we're always testing something new.
Yes, absolutely. And then making note of the things that we test, so we remember what we were testing. Looks like Craig's just surfing around the command center there.
I am trying to make myself useful here. I'm just, I went into the control panel. I'm just cruising through here, showing everybody, giving a little demo while you're talking.
Great.
But we're running out of time here quickly. Steve, any other questions in the chat that we need to address?
I also have an announcement for our French members when there's
a couple of people that have asked how management works, Christy. What do you do? How often do people get calls, or how does it work?
How does it work? Well, once you get started with management, we essentially will find out the information that we need in order to set up and manage your account. So, your primary service area, what is your marketing budget, and what are your goals? Do you want to generate, 20 leads a month, 30 leads a month, 100 leads a month? That's important because not everyone wants to generate 100 leads a month. So we discuss those things with you when we're onboarding you into the program. And then we set up the accounts. We make sure everything's being tracked. We make sure we are testing the necessary variables. And then we will report to you, usually once a month, sometimes twice a month, depending on how much attention the campaign needs. And then, we basically are your marketing partner. We continue to work with you. When it comes to pay-per-click advertising, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not something that you just turn on and boom, you're done, right? There's work involved, a lot of monitoring, a lot of optimization. That's our specialty. That's what we do.
Do you like my demo?
I do. I like the highlighter work that you're doing is stellar. I mean, that's...
I'm trying to be like...
The artistry.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like the ladies on The Price is Right. That they have the new car and they take their hand and they go, here it is.
You think GoToWebinar would come up with some new tools to play with when you're on these things? Like, these tools have been around forever. These highlighters and arrows and stuff.
All right, now I'm not sure how many of you had a chance to look at some of these Jumpstart videos, these webinars, but it'd be a good idea to do that.
Absolutely. We do them every week, every Thursday, 3:30 to 4:30 Eastern Time. We record them. I was showing our Facebook page for at the beginning of the call today. So the Facebook page is a great place to kind of check in, make sure you're caught up on the webinars because we do post links and the weekly topics there. It's an amazing resource. We've got about 3 to 4 years worth of recorded calls in here, so you could easily spend a large chunk of time listening to this stuff. But you can usually pick and choose the stuff.
I know you send out reminders for that, but there's actually been had a couple questions, people asking how they can get reminders for the Thursday calls.
Okay, what I would do is make sure, send an email to jumpstart@successwebsite.com, and I'm going to put this into the chat as well. Sometimes when we're emailing our clients, one, the email may end up in spam, right? So check your spam folders and make sure you whitelist the Jumpstart emails coming from us. But sometimes we also get email addresses from you when you first get started that you're no longer using. So if you need to update your email with us, best way to do that is just go to jumpstart@successwebsite.com, send them a quick email, say, I want to receive the weekly reminders, send it to this email address. We'll make sure that your record is updated with the correct email address. So again, that's jumpstart@successwebsite.com.
And of course, you can always call us. If you go to Success or Craig Proctor Success website or successwebsite.com, our phone number's at the top right of the screen, 1-800-361-9527. We're happy to answer all your questions.
All right, well, we're out of time for today. Final thoughts from Steve Raitt?
No, great call. I hardly had to say anything. That was great. Thanks, Christy. Thanks, Rick. Thanks, Craig. We do these calls every month, so second Monday every month. Put it on your calendar and make sure we'll try and answer your questions. For anybody hopefully everyone's going to the next super conference in Orlando. If you're there, I'll be there. Say hi. And other than that, we'll talk soon.
All right, Andrea, any announcements from you before we wrap this up?
Yes, I do have one announcement. For our French-speaking members, we were supposed to have a webinar today, our normal bi-weekly webinar with Francois, but he will be holding a live face-to-face meeting in his office. If you are in his area, please let me know, and I can send you the address of the live personal face-to-face meeting. So we will not be having a webinar today. But for our
that's even better than a live webinar, an actual live meeting at Francois Mackay's office in Montreal. Okay, now I have one announcement. If you're in the Toronto area, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a half-day seminar in Richmond Hill at the Sheridan Parkway, Highway 404 and Highway 7. Steve Raitt, you're going to be there. Is that correct?
I am going to be there all day.
Right. Okay, and then that'll go to about 1 o'clock, and then after 1 o'clock, I'm going to be meeting with all the Toronto area Platinum members. So if you're a Platinum member, you want to meet with me. Steve and I are going to be doing a meeting at that same hotel in the afternoon. We've got a private breakout session just for us, just for Platinum. I mean, if you're a coaching member, you want to come and hang out with us, you're welcome to do that as well. So that's tomorrow in Richmond Hill. If you have any questions about that, you can call my office toll free at 1-800-538-1034. We do have the Florida Super Conference coming up in at the end of the month in a couple weeks. And Steve will be there. I'll be there. Rick will be there. Christy, I'm not sure if you're going to be there or not.
Unfortunately not. No.
Well,
sounds like it'll be a great event, though. I'm sorry I'm missing it.
Well, you should work on Steve for an airline ticket because it will be a great event. It's going to be jammed. It's going to be a pretty big event. Very nice resort we're at. So, of course, if you're in our program, you're a coaching member, you're a Platinum member, you want to make sure that you're attending that event. Again, the dates, I think the Platinum members start the 26th, so 26th, 27th, and 28th. If you're in coaching or Platinum, those are the 3 days that you're going to be with us. Again, if you have any questions about any of our upcoming training, you can visit the website or you can call my office. Just let us know you're going to be there so we have materials ready for you. So great webinar, everyone. Thanks very much to Christy and to Steve and to Rick and to Andrea for all their help today. We'll wrap it up, go sell some houses, and we'll talk to everybody soon. That concludes today's helpline.